In today's step-by-step Procreate tutorial, we'll be illustrating a focused baseball player right in the moment before he hits the ball. This piece uses a limited colour palette, tons of textured line work and thoughtful mark making to create depth, tension and movement. If you love adding texture and atmosphere to your digital art, this tutorial is perfect for you. You'll pick up loads of tips for adding texture, shading and stylized mark making. Don't forget to download the free sketch and color palette linked below. I'll also list the brushes I'm using, but as always, feel free to use what you prefer. I have used the following canvas dimensions and color profile. Let's select the sketch group here and select each layer in the sketch group. Take it down to multiply and just take it down to anywhere between 20 to 40% is fine, and we'll do the same for each of the layers. So multiply, take it down to about 20 to 40%, press the N, multiply, and I'll close this group, create two new layers, select both group, I'll rename and call this player. Close this group, select the sketch group and pop it on top. I'll select this layer here. We're going to use the rugged marker at 10%. I'll select this blue color here, and we can go to the sketch group and just turn off the text and other group. Make sure we're on this layer here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create an outline of each of the elements and then fill them in with color. So we're going to start off with the pants. I'm just going to make sure that this is closed here so the color doesn't bleed when we fill it in now. So next I'll select this layer here, I'll choose the lightest color and I'll just draw the socks in. You can go over a little bit, I'll show you why in a moment. Let's fill that in with color, continue filling, and I'll just grab the pants layer and just pop it on top like so. Now let's grab the red color, create a new layer on top, and we'll do the t-shirt. And fill that in with color. Create a new layer. I'll select the lightest color here. Let's do the arms. And fill that in with color. Continue filling. Create a new layer. We'll select this color here now, and we'll do the hands and the face. And let's fill that in with color. Continue filling, and here. Create a new layer on top. Let's grab the darkest color here. Now I'm going to do the shoes, the belt, the this part of the baseball bat and the hair. Let's grab the color and fill it in. Continue filling. Actually, I've lost the line there, so let's just continue filling this, and that. And I'll just grab the brush again and close this line. Fill it in with color. New layer. I'm going to select the lightest blue, and let's do the top of the cap now. I might just temporarily turn this off so I can see what I'm doing here. Fill that in with color. New layer. Red. Fill that in with color. Navy blue. Let's turn this layer back on. Okay, at this point I'm going to choose the background color, and it'll be this gorgeous yellow here. Just momentarily turn this sketch layer off, and let's turn this one on. So I'm just going to close this group, create 2 new layers, select both, group, rename. I'll call this other, select the bottom layer, select the lightest color, and let's do the baseball. Fill that in with color, select this layer, select the darkest color, and let's do this star. And fill that in with color. Close this group, create 2 new layers, select both, group, rename. I'll call this text, select the bottom layer, select the lightest color. Let's go to the sketch group. We can turn other off and turn text on. Let's do the speech bubble. Just make sure that that's at about size 10. Fill that in with color. Now we're going to use this really cool brush. It's the analog shader, and we're going to use it at around 6%. We're going to add some shading here and there. So we'll start off with the pants. Let's select the darkest blue here, close this group, and select the player group, select the pants, create a new layer on top, select clipping mask. For those of you who don't know how a clipping mask works, whatever we place here on layer 20 will be contained to this pant shape on layer 5. And I might just switch this to multiply and take it down to about 30 or so % just for the moment to see how that looks. But we'll just add some of that shading here to the pants, like so. I might just zoom up so you can see the really cool effect of this brush. And then I'm going to grab the eraser, rugged marker, about 9 or 10%, and I'm just going to erase back a little. Yeah, I'm just going to erase back a little here, like so. Now that shading is looking pretty cool. I might go back to the brush and add just a little bit more of the shading on this side, like so. Now we'll continue using this dark blue color, the same brush. select the t-shirt layer, create a new layer on top, clipping mask, and we're just going to add some of this shadow to the t-shirt now, but we are going to select multiply and take it down to, let's try it at around size 40%, sorry, opacity 40%. And let's add this shading here. And just under here. As well as over here. And I might add a little bit of shading to under the hand here. And I'll grab the eraser, just make sure that it's on the rugged marker, so we get that kind of jagged look that matches the jagged look on all of the elements here. And we're just going to raise back a little here and there, so I'm just going to erase a little bit back over here, like so, and I might just increase the size a tad and erase back a little bit here. And I might just go back to the brush and just add a little bit more of the shading here, like so. Now let's select this layer here, create a new layer on top, clipping mask. We'll continue using the same brush, but we'll just change the color to this color here, third from the right. And I'm just going to add a little bit of that shading, like so, to here. And some over this side. I'll use the eraser and I'm going to erase back just a little bit here, like so. And while I've got that brush and color selected, I'm just quickly going to close this group and select this layer on top, clipping mask, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that gorgeous shading to the bottom of the ball here. And then I'll go back to the player, select this layer here, create a new layer on top, clipping mask, just add a little bit of the shading to the socks here and there. Okay, so now let's select this layer here, create a new layer on top, clipping mask. We'll continue using the same brush. I want to select the red here. Let's select multiply and take it down to about 40 or so %. And I'm going to add a little bit of shadow to the hands here, like so. And a little bit over here, as well as to the neckline here. Grab the eraser tool and let's just erase back a tad, like so. And erase back here. And we might just take it down in the opacity, take it down to about 30%. We can always change it later. Now let's grab this really cool brush. It's the Gritty Crayon, it's one of my favorites. And let's take it down to about 5%. I'll select the darkest color. I'm going to just go back to the sketch group and turn the player sketch on, just so we can add the facial features. And let's just put this on a new layer. So select this layer, create a new layer on top, and let's add these facial features. I'll keep the brush. I'm just going to select the yellow color. Let's select the cap, create a new layer on top. So I'll just add these lines on the cap using that same brush, but in yellow. We'll keep on using the brush. I'll select this dark blue here. Let's just create a new layer on top. And I'll take it up to about 9%. Just going to add some textured lines here and there. So I'll add this cool textured line here. We'll add one here. One here. Now I'll select the lighter blue here. Just take it down to about 5%. Let's select this layer here, create a new layer on top, and I'm just going to add these lines to the belt. Now you can grab the eraser tool and just erase back a tiny little bit over here, like so. Now let's grab the lightest color here and select the top layer, create a new layer on top. I'm just going to add the top of the baseball bat. I'm just going to make sure that I've selected the rugged marker at around 10% for this one. And fill that in with color. Now let's select the wet and dry brush at about 4%. The color that we'll use is this second from the right. Create a new layer on top, and we'll just add a little bit of this shading. Just make sure we've got that second from the right selected, and we're just going to add this little bit of shading to the baseball bat, like so. Now let's grab the textured pencil at about 12%. Going to choose the red color. Select this layer here, or this layer here is fine. Create a new layer on top. And we're just going to add the lines to the fingers in a kind of sketchy way. Now let's grab the dry brush at 12%. I'll select the lightest color. Select this layer here, create a new layer on top, and I'm just going to add this white line to the t-shirt. Now I'm going to use the dehydrated brush at about 18%. We're going to add a bit of texture to the star. Let's select the yellow color. Close this group. Open this one up. Select this layer. Create a new layer on top. Clippy mask. And we're just going to add this really cool texture to the star here. Now let's grab the gritty crayon, the darkest color. Just make sure you've got the other sketch layer selected, and select this layer, create a new layer on top. And we're just going to add some of this line work to the baseball. Now I just might increase this to about 11%, grab the red color, select this layer, create a new layer on top. We're just going to add these 3 lines here for movement. And then we're just going to add another 3 lines here to signify movement. Now we'll use the mighty pencil at around 19%. I can turn this layer off now and turn on the text layer. I'm just going to turn it down in opacity, but you're welcome to keep it as it is. And close this group, select this group, select this layer, And I'm just going to add some of this cool text to this speech bubble. So to start off with, I'm just going to create outlines of the text like so. And after I've done with the outlines, I'm just going to roughly kind of sketch it in. Alright, now that I've got the outline, I will turn the sketch layer off, and I'm going to kind of add this really cool shading effect to all of the letters. Now, I'm going to use this really cool brush. It's called Jittery Brush. At about 33%, we'll keep the color red. Select this layer here, create a new layer on top, create a clipping mask, and let's just zoom in a little bit. And I'm just going to add this kind of really cool texture to the speech bubble. Now I'm going to use textured filler at 100%. I'm going to use the darkest blue. Just close all the layers. I'll select this layer, create a new layer on top, grab this group, pop that on top, select this layer here, select multiply, take it down to about 20% or thereabouts. And I'm just going to add this really cool texture to the bottom here. Next, I'll be using the distress brush at about 45–46%. We'll keep the darkest color. Let's create a new layer on top. We're just going to add this really cool texture. This is the final step to the background. Now I want this to be quite subtle, so I'm not going to go hard with this. Just want it here and there, just a tiny bit. So that's it, the drawing is finished. Let's just tap with our 4 fingers on the screen like that, just so we get rid of the toolbar, and just so we can see the final drawing. I just want to zoom in and appreciate the details. As per usual, my secret weapon is using texture and these brushes that I've developed so I can streamline my illustration process and get almost instantaneous results. So I'm just really loving the texture and the text here. Really digging that texture, or that textured shadow work on the clothing and on the hands and face and so forth. Let's just zoom in here. I've got some more gorgeous texture in this, star and the baseball in the background, even that shadow or that texture underneath the baseball player. That's looking pretty cool. You know, and all of this was done, I think, let's just go back to the toolbar. I think it was 8 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, it's 8 colors. So a limited color palette of 8 colors, and this is the result that we get. So thanks so much for drawing with me today. I hope this tutorial helped you explore new texture techniques and have fun with a limited color palette. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give the video a like and subscribe for more Procreate tutorials. I'll see you in the next one. Happy illustrating!